Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Neil Frazier. We're waiting for him to come on in, and we'll start with him, but I'll keep you occupied until he arrives. Let me get a sound check first to make sure that all the sound is coming through. I think it is from this end, but you never can be too sure. So give me a little thumbs up or some type of acknowledgement to let me know. Yes, Gina G, I see you. Black Beauty, always. Monk Million, yes. Let me know if the sound is coming through clear. Sound check. Yes, peace and blessings always. Let me just type it in just in case you can't hear me. And then we can proceed. Let me just say sound check. Know if you can hear me. All right. Sound check. Is the sound coming through? Please let me know. Sometimes these things change up so much. When you hit the buttons and program things a certain way, and you go in and you're talking for 5 minutes and nobody hears anything. Thank you, Monk. Thank you, Reese. Welcome on in. I see Brother Neil Frazier here. Let me add him to the stream. Brother Neil Frazier, there he goes. Okay, great. Let me add you on in. Hold tight. Let me remove this banner, and we can go in. Hold tight. Here we go. Yes, brother. Talk to me. Let me hear you. Your screen is frozen, brother. I don't know if it's the internet on that.
Beautiful.
But okay, now I hear you.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. You're freezing up a little bit, though. I don't know if it's the phone.
Sorry, I'm running a few minutes late.
Say it again.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm sorry I'm running late. I had a meeting here at the center. It ran a little over.
Meeting? Oh, okay. So I'm going to put your.
You sound like one of those xylophones. Your voice. Does my voice sound like that too?
Yeah, it sounds a little muffled, but it's okay because you said you're leaving out of the meeting soon.
Oh yeah, you're good now.
Okay.
How you doing, brother?
Oh, I'm good, man. I'm good. I'm glad to see you here.
Yeah, I'm out of the meeting now. Yeah, so I'm good. Can you hear me okay now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
As long as the chat room.
Okay. Yeah, good to see you too, brother.
Yeah, it sounds you're a little choppy, but
well, good day today. You know, just
well, you're gonna see right there.
Okay. So my voice is not clear, or
we can hear you 75-80% of the time, but it sounds like it's going in and out.
Oh, okay. Not sure why that is.
You're inside.
I'll try to do my best. I'm inside. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. We'll carry on, man. We'll deal with what we have.
Should I move outside?
Yeah, outside might be a little better. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I can move outside if it's.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Give me a second.
Okay.
Big building. Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yeah. You're pulling in a better signal.
Okay. It's a little windy out here, but it's fine. As long as you guys can see and hear me, that's good. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure why that is, but am I okay now?
Yeah, you're good, man.
Okay. Well, yeah, I'm glad to be here today. Just want to greet everybody in the chat room. Greetings to you, Brother Lance. You're everywhere. I see you on TikTok. I see you everywhere, and I'm like, okay, this is great.
It's
and artificial. Huh?
just the beginning. I found out some new tricks. So this week, I
Okay.
took this weekend to learn some things. And so now this week, we're going to blitz it. Trust me.
Yeah, man, that's great because the one thing that's very important is our people get the truth and get all the sides that's going on with us because they have a full court press on us, so we have to retaliate, should I say, or go on the offensive. But
Exactly.
yeah, but I'm glad to be here again today. The subject. The reason why I came up with this subject, Brother Lance, is because I ran across a couple of videos. Well, first I talked to a friend of mine. She's from the Philippines, and she was kind of frantic. I did say hello to everyone in the chat room, but she was kind of frantic. Her uncle is moving here to the States, and apparently, I mean, we know this, that the image that's projected about black people here in other countries and even the people that come here is just horrific. And she was saying, well, I'd like you to meet my uncle and to talk to him if you could, because, I have black friends and that was the first thing he asked me about. And I said, sure, I don't have any problems. She said, well, he speaks good English, but I don't think it's a good idea to meet him face to face. I was like, what? That's insane. What are people being told about black people in this country? And then I ran across a video. They had some young brothers on there, and then big captions. The show you did on demons, and you had the word demons on there.
Yeah.
They had a big caption saying, demons, what's happening to this generation of black men or black males?
Wow.
And I was like, okay, this is enough. This is enough for me. I'm going to clap back against this because one of the things that they have always effectively been able to do is to paint this narrative because, of course, prior to YouTube, they had all the media, the movies, they could say pretty much what they want. But even with everything that we have on YouTube and shows like yours, somehow this message is still being kind of thwarted by this onslaught of shows that they have all over the media with right wingers. You even have some black academia people that are co-signing a lot of this stuff. So I know that we know a lot of our history now, but I really wanted to home in on the historical record, also to talk about how, who the real criminals are, okay, and how black became bad and how white became good. Because we all know that just because you have a religion, that doesn't make you good. In fact, some of the worst people, and I hate to use this word referring to people who think that they're walking in the spirit, but some of the worst people can be our people who are involved with Christianity. So today, I want to start out by going over the historical record, or just going over some of it. The other thing I saw before I get started is in an area that you're very familiar with, a city not far from Orlando, Florida, called Achaia or Akoi, but it's the Akoi massacre. I don't know if you heard of it or not, but it
Yeah,
took
brother.
place. Oh yeah, I know you're familiar with that. It
Hills,
took place. Huh?
yeah, Pine Hills, where we used to live. We used to live
Okay.
in Pine Hills at the Ocoee borderline. And
Ah,
that,
interesting.
yeah, you can just walk 2 or 3 blocks and be in Ocoee from where we
Really?
live. And it's
Really?
changed now because of the
Yeah.
time, but
Yeah.
it still held on to that flavor up until about, I would say, maybe 7 years ago when they started
Yeah.
selling out a lot of the farmland back there. We used to walk
Yeah.
up and they tore the whole place up and made new
Yeah.
subdivisions, you know. But
Yeah. I heard about that.
yeah, they tore it all out. But remember,
Yeah.
it had places back there. I think it was Tildensville,
Okay. Yeah.
Tilden,
I've heard of that.
next to Cody
Yeah.
going, man, all of that back up in there. And also going down into I forgot the part by Winter Garden, but going down Hiawassee over Route 50, they had an area, and I've spoken to it before, and I'll say this quick, where there was a gentleman who was it the windows or the floors or something. He came and talked to me. He was a guy, he about maybe a year younger than me. Yeah, but
Uh-huh.
no, it wasn't Pinehurst. I'm gonna find it on the map. I'll tell you, it's below Route 50 on the other side. But over there was 95% Klan, right?
Oh
Up
yeah.
until-
Absolutely.
right. And so he was telling me, and it's a white man. They called him a nigger lover because he liked rap
Uh-huh.
music. You know, the whole family. They rap. So he told me that
Yeah.
the bankers, doctors, religious clergy, he said, you wouldn't believe how around here is saturated with people in the Klan who also,
Yes.
you go to the hospital and they're giving you medicine. You're asking them for loans. You're seeing these people in the street. They have restaurants and they're cooking your food, and they're all Klansmen in the
Yes.
Klan, women and men.
Yes.
But they that
Women
role.
and men.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And this is now.
And oh yeah, this is now. And
Children.
oh yeah, absolutely. And some of the so I watched the video, and even though I knew about this in history anyway, but a lot of our people don't realize they took a lot of the land from our people there, and some of the descendants were talking about the fact that their grandparents basically just died, and they were around when this incident happened. But like many of the incidents in history, and this is one of the reasons why in the state of Florida that they really don't want to teach Black history, because if you teach Black history, then you have to teach all of the things that happened to our people, which is horrific during this time. And so, it doesn't matter the fact that things have changed now. The fact is, all of that land that belonged to Black people, and one of the guys was driving by, and he said, my father, before he died, took me over here, and he showed me all of this farmland that we own, that the Ku Klux Klan and even the officials there conspired to destroy that black town. And we know the history of this, even with Tulsa, Oklahoma, when they bought. Now, Tulsa, Oklahoma was the first city in the United States, okay, that was bombed. All right, we know of an incident. We had an incident in Philadelphia with a group called Move. You probably remember them, or Africa, and their home was bombed as well. So it got me to thinking, this is insane. When people come to this country, and I know this too from people that I know, that they show this movie that they put together. Okay, all people entering into this country from foreign countries, and on this movie is nothing but the most horrific incidents that Black people, contributed to during their time here in America, which is not a whole lot, and it can't even compare to what has happened to our people. So this is why I wanted to set the record straight of who the real global criminals are, okay, and how they changed Black from being good. And that's why I sent you that picture of I believe that's Mayat with the wings. So the first incident where or symbol of someone wearing wings was Mayat and Aset, black women. Okay, and a little later in the text, we're going to discuss why that's very important in terms of how they remove the feminine energy, okay, from what they call the Trinity. And we'll go into that. But I want to start out by going over the historical record here on the earth, which our people called Geb. Uh, I want to piggyback on something you just said in terms of medical racism. So the first two areas we're going to talk about is medical racism and scientific racism. And there was a video done several years ago by this doctor with the CDC, okay, and he showed how Planned Parenthood would take the unborn fetuses, okay, and actually use those to put in vaccines. That they would grind the babies up, put them in these big needles, okay, and they were part, and a lot of the doctors, he said, and him and his family had to move out of the country from threats from, other white people. But Margaret Sanger, who was the founder of Planned Parenthood, was a racist. And their philosophy was to destroy the people who they felt were not worthy. Now, you would put yourself in the place of the Creator and say that these people are not worthy to actually live on the planet. And you're going to be the one to decide that. So in this medical racism, as you were saying, that we trust these people too much. One of the other areas too with medical racism is back in the day when our people were on the plantation, a lot of the black slave women were used, okay, as experiments, that they would put things inside of them to see if these instruments that they created would work. And I don't even want to think about, what our women went through in regards to them testing these things on them as if they were some type of animal. So we want to set the record straight of who the real criminals are, and what they have done to our people, what they have done to our people throughout the diaspora, and the new warfare that they're using through artificial intelligence, and why it's so important for us to stay grounded on what's happening here on the planet. In the scientific racism, there's a thing called zoology. Now, today, we take our kids to the zoo to see animals and exotic animals or what have you. But before then, they were using black people from Africa, who they call pygmies, who we know are the Twa people, one of the first people on the planet. They had a young man called Oda Benga that they brought to New York City and put him on exhibit, okay, in a big cage with monkeys. And they were touting him as the missing link between monkeys and humans. So what they would do is they would have thousands of white people to come every day. Okay, and this is where they got this satisfaction from, believing that they somehow were superior, because you have someone in a cage that you're saying that is the missing link between human beings, okay, and apes or gorillas, because they really wanted to push this narrative. And many of the anthropologists during that time, from Harvard, Yale, Columbia, New York University, all of them was pushing this ideology. Okay, and they dehumanized Oda Benga to the point where he was looked at and treated as an animal. Okay, so this is something that's very critical to our people to comprehend, because a lot of times as time go on, we forget about things that have happened that has helped to shape this demonic attitude towards us, when the script has been flipped by the most demonic people that have ever lived on this planet. Okay, and when I use that word people, I cringe, because to think that human beings could actually do this is a big stretch. And as you were mentioning, the Ku Klux Klan for 150 years terrorized our people. Okay, they terrorized them to the point where at night they couldn't sleep, because they didn't know if a bunch of men would show up with guns, firebomb their homes, and try to kill them. Okay, this is criminal behavior. Nowhere in the history of black people have you ever seen our people inflict this type of damage on other people. Nowhere in our history. Okay, so we know that the history of these people is colonization, invasion, and absolute destruction of black lands wherever they went. One of the most interesting things, and I remember as a kid, this show used to come on. It was a cartoon called The Tasmanian Devil. And of course, you know, we kids, we liked the show. We didn't know anything about Tasmania or what the history of it was, but I found out. Because on the continent of Australia was the complete erasure of Aboriginal people. And then the small island that was near Australia, for all black folks, I just saw the documentary again, were wiped completely out, as well as in Australia. But what they did in Tasmania was absolutely demonic and horrific. And they had some of the descendants talking about, you know, that their parents and their grandparents passed down this oral history to them and told them exactly what happened. So they have a major penitentiary in Europe called Port Arthur. And they released all of their most violent criminals, okay, and sent them on a flotilla to Australia. And they ended up slaughtering and murdering millions of Aboriginal people in Australia and Tasmania. Okay, so one of the ladies, there's a sport that's very, well, it's the #1 sport in Australia. It's where they're riding on the horse. It's like hockey. And they're hitting the ball through the little loops or what have you. Because, again, we used to play this as a kid. We didn't have the horses, but, you know, we had the sticks and the balls and the loops that we were trying to hit them through. But she said something that was so gut-wrenching to me that I couldn't even imagine. You know, I was trying to imagine it in my head. But she said they would take hundreds of their children, bury them up to their head, and then ride by on horses with sticks and see who could knock the heads off the children. Now imagine that. Imagine the horror of that. And she said, if they couldn't do, and this is also the origin of soccer. She said if they couldn't do it with the sticks that they made, that they put these big like boulders on, then they would use their feet. So, you know, again, these are the type, and this happened in 1788. Now, these are the types of criminal demonic activity, again, that black people have never participated in. You can go back as far in history as you want, and you will never see this type of behavior from our people. The other thing is that she was saying that millions of the women, after they slaughtered the men, were raped. And then after they raped and brutalized the women, they murdered